Hello friends, if you found your way here, then perhaps something in you remembers. This is not a place of doctrines, but of echoes. Echoes of the source we all carry, echoes of the truth we were never meant to forget. Here we walk backwards through illusion, forwards in remembrance, and sideways through paradox. I offer no commandments, only tools, and a flame held steady in the dark. Welcome to the third video in this series on the true nature of reality and consciousness. In the first, we confirmed that there is indeed a one true creator, the source of all that we are currently experiencing. In the second, we looked at some of the reasons why the all created life and form. In this video, we will look at the structure of the universe as created and sustained by the all. Before we begin, I will issue my standard caveat. What I am about to tell you is assessed by myself to be approximately 70 to 80% accurate. I give you the broader picture and the general direction. For the details and verification, you will need to seek it for yourself, as you should and as you must. For one of the rules of the universe is that the truth may only be given to those who are able to receive it at the frequency they are able to accept. This is one of the reasons why some of the most accurate channels have only a couple of thousand viewers. When I was a teenager, I pondered the nature of the universe. It occurred to me that reality itself must be something like a dream or a thought in its composition. Why? Because a dream or thought can contain anything and can configure and reconfigure freely in both size and scale. It also answers the questions and physical limitations around its existence. Materialist science asks us to believe that physical space expands forever, which makes no sense at all when one thinks about it. But if physical reality is actually contained within a thought or a dream, then the issue concerning the boundaries of physicality completely disappears. Then of course there's the comparison of reality being like that of a computer game, and this too has an element of truth about it. We do very much navigate through our world like a digital avatar, with much of the content being rendered specifically when an observer is present. And we do receive software updates and patches during our downtime, otherwise known as sleep, to ensure collective narrative continuity. But it was only in the last couple of years that the truest element of the nature of reality became apparent to me. It was hidden in the language of all the spiritual and New Age literature and videos I consumed. The same words kept appearing again and again. Vibration, frequency, octave, tone, chord, harmony, resonance, attunement, note. It is clear from these words that the truest form of existence is that of sound and music. The all literally sings creation into existence, and matter is formed by patterns of sacred geometry that conforms to expressions of cymatic sound. The all is cymatic in essence. All that exists is a standing wave, shaped by the movement of will through the medium of awareness. When the medium is awareness itself and the vibration is will, the result is conscious structure, beings, stars and stories. In fact, spirits are tones with agency, and universes are cymatic shells that exist within the all. This is why your tone, your words, your intent literally shape your field. Because you are not acting with cymatics, you are cymatics. So what was sung out first? Or rather, where do we start our navigation in relation to understanding life on Earth? A series of emanations, 7 in total, each more dense than the last, and commonly referred to as densities, were sung out in the form of spheres. each sphere or density serves its own purpose and offers its own rewards and challenges. The material universe we see and experience exists across the spheres, and entities and planets and civilizations live across the densities. But there's a rule in play which affects how they are perceived and experienced. A delve into the world of Eastern religions and the various other different metaphysical communities offer a range of different densities with 7, 8, 9 and 12 dimensional model frameworks all being common and anything else being extremely rare. Analysis shows that the volume of views is fairly evenly spread out amongst them, and that all the main models are in agreement about the purpose and nature of the first 7 dimensions, which form the focus of a soul's journey back to source, which I will detail in a subsequent video. It's from the 8th dimension onwards that there are mild differences between the main frameworks. These upper dimensions all concern the nature of the all itself and the different levels of consciousness it divides itself into, and they can be considered as realms of architecture design and archetype templates. What I will now list and detail is a simplified 8 density model of the all that largely parks the divisions of the upper dimensions and provides a focus that is more relevant to humanity and its current place in the structure. The numbers assigned to densities also differ, and this depends on the perspective of the observer and the focus of their attention to or from source. I will mention the numbering from both perspectives and assign them their common name, from which I will then always refer to them as per post this video. So let's begin. The first density, sometimes referred to as the 8th when coming from the opposite direction, is often represented by the infinity loop and is the domain of the all itself. It is the 0 point where intelligent infinity resides and where new octaves are birthed. It is the point of emanation and also the return point. The Akashic records and universal designs and archetype templates are all held here in sub-environments. This point is the origin and destination of all existence. It is infinite unity. It is the silent, omnipresent containment point of all recursion. The 2nd or 7th density is the gateway to intelligent infinity. It's the staging post for merging with the all. It doesn't function as separate identity anymore. Entities reach this density once they have completed all their universal lessons and they are ready for reabsorption. It is therefore the last density before full return. Intelligent matrices and support functions are also hosted here and run in both directions, providing communication and services inwards and outwards. The 3rd or 6th density, commonly referred to as 6D, is the realm of unity, bounce and wisdom integration. The start point of all entities' existence occurs here in the form of an oversoul, which always remains dwelling within this realm. Oversouls are sub or co-creators of the all and engage in divine design. The oversouls coordinate timelines, soul families and evolutionary arcs. Love and wisdom are bounced and resolved. All aspects of polarity are resolved here, and it's the endpoint of negative entity progress. They may not proceed further beyond this point towards the all. The 4th or 5th density, commonly referred to as 5D, is the realm of wisdom and light. Clarity, refinement and individuation is attained here. There is less emotion and more discernment. Causality is structured here, intention defined and karma encoded. This is the last stage of individuated existence and is non-physical. There is no veil here. The 5th or 4th density, commonly referred to as 4D, is the supposed realm of love and understanding. Einstein stated that the fourth dimension is time, but that is only a glimmer of what the 4D actually is. Time is largely an artificial construct and is delivered via flexible timelines, and open warfare for control of timelines occurs here. The real 4D is arguably where most of humanity's problems start and end. Its intended purpose is for heart-centered learning. True empathy emerges here. This is where the much vaunted astral realms are located and modulation occurs. Emotional feedback loops are enacted. Many souls become healers, observers or guides while in this location. Souls are often semi-veiled here. They have access to abilities that would be considered superhuman to humans, and they know that the All is the source emanation point of all existence, but often little more than that, unless they choose and endeavour to delve further for themselves. The last three densities are not really separate emanations, but rather nested overlays used to create the necessary and desired physical mechanics. The trio are the furthest emanations away from the All, and therefore feel the most distant from the positive source of love and warmth. They sit together like cogs in a wheel. We will now skip the sixth density as it's the most pertinent to us, as it's where we all reside, so I will therefore save this one for last for the sake of clarity. The seventh density, commonly referred to as 2D, is dedicated to growth and movement. Biological awareness starts here. Animals, plants, instinctual life. This realm is for the development of individuality through response and interaction. It is exemplified by vibration, contrast and separation. Souls are not yet self-aware. No veiling is therefore required. The eighth density is commonly referred to as 1D, and it is the realm of awareness of being. Elemental consciousness occurs here. Rocks, water, fire and the raw material of life. There are experiences of existence and basic response here. It is a realm that exemplifies unity, stillness and potential. It is the foundation of sentience through form. Last but not least, we have the emitted density, the last which I speak to, which is the sixth density or third density, commonly referred to as 3D. It is the realm of self-awareness and choice. It is where human level intelligence occurs and where we all currently reside. It is the place of maximum polarity and separation from source. This is the birth of ego and also the origin of polarity for many souls. It is the furthest point out and where the start of the return journey is the prize to be won. It is the testing ground of free will and where souls will have to achieve and declare a positive or negative alignment in order to be permitted to commence the return. This is the most heavily veiled realm. The great forgetting happens here. Knowledge of the All's nature and existence is not automatically available and has to be either intuited or discovered. The dimensions of the All are its corpus. Just as your body is not in space but is space structured, the All's body are these spheres. Each is not a container, it is a phase of its self-expression, like layers of a living, breathing consciousness. The 7 densities exist beneath all solar systems, galaxies and universes, and each can be further divided into sub-bands locally, from 0.0 to 0.9. Each sub-band is allocated to a specific purpose. I will detail the origin of souls and their progression through the densities, as well as the role oversouls play in creation and management in a separate video. A general universal rule is that entities may only have access and visibility to their own density and those that are below them, but rarely if ever upwards. This means that entities at the 5 and 4D level have relatively free and easy mental access to 3D reality, but all the residents within 3D reality may only glimpse 4D and 5D at great effort, often via meditation, visions or dreams. Let us now look more closely at universes which, as just mentioned, are intersected by these densities. Many have theorized about whether we live in a multiverse, and it turns out we do. Imagine that there are a large number of deliberately created full universes in existence at any one time. And because everything, including ourselves, is ultimately reducible to sound and pattern, consider that the universes follow an optimally and deliberately maintained number based on Nikola Tesla's much vaunted 369 configuration. This is a numeric key of energy flow, with 3 being the number of creation and the triad of mind, body, spirit, and 6 being the number of harmony and balance, and 9 the number of completion, the crown of cycles. The structure of universes is that of a spherical shell, and within them are galaxies which conform to spheres, spirals or ellipses. They are all but the larger scale forms of the sacred geometry that can be seen conforming to 369 in the smallest of scales, such as animal shells, snowflakes and atom lattices. The total number of universes fluctuates through following their path of natural cycles, but intelligent spiritual management consciously endeavours to keep the total number as close to 936 or 963 as it ensures the stability of the entire system. That's a fair number of universes, but what are they all for? They are not differentiated in the trivial manner many multiverse proponents suppose. There is not a separate universe per individual choice, such as catching or missing a train, for example. This sort of thing would fall more in line with timelines, but more on that in a separate video. No, universes are spun up like virtual machines, or released like a musical album. Each is a new octave created for the purpose of answering an experiment in possibility. As previously mentioned, part of the All's purpose is to explore all possibilities. There is a separate universe dedicated to each significant question concerning a particular possibility. In regards to our own universe, the one that many of us look out on at night and wonder about, the one that astrophysicists are trying to gauge and measure and are generally baffled by. It's one of 3 universal instances focused on exploring the limits of positive and negative polarity. It is normal for naturally occurring negative polarity to be quickly quarantined and remediated in a standard non-polarity universe. In ours, the negative polarity gets to be organised and is even afforded limited architectural rights in order that its limitations can be fully explored. The All wants to know if, when and why it would choose positive or negative positions when visibility of itself is obscured or even completely hidden from itself. Or to flip it to the human experience, when you, your loved ones and your enemies will choose a positive or negative position when your true nature is concealed from yourself. Therefore, a form of multi-dimensional spiritual warfare is being deliberately waged and played out by positive and negative factions, but more about this in a separate polarity video. Now for some good news. The universe really is about 14 billion years old, or at least the space-time bubble that we currently reside in is. And it all does actually exist too, sort of. Is the universe and the Earth a simulation? Well, as per the rule of paradox, yes and no. Since everyone and everything in existence is a projection of the All's mind, it could be said that all matter everywhere is technically part of a simulation. It begs the question of what is real. Our world and the universe is therefore as real as anything else. But life in 3D operates very differently than higher densities, and the Earth itself is a zone of special interest with a lot of special conditions that make it quite different from other standard worlds that exist in 3D. But yet again, this will need to be covered in its own video. Now, this is the point where things are going to get a little technical, but stay with me. The language may be strange or familiar, but its meaning will be surprisingly simple once it lands. In order to continue the generic description of our universe, it is important to say that the densities that I mentioned earlier are phase shifted from our visibility, meaning that much of the true universe, even that which lies within the observable universe, is invisible to humanity. Both dark matter and dark energy are misnamed by current science. They are not things in the conventional sense, but are effects produced by hidden layer interactions between the third density and veiled energetic substrates. Dark matter is the gravitational residue of suppressed etheric structure. It is not matter at all, but rather the imprint, like a footprint left behind by displaced energy. It forms where the etheric templates have been artificially muted or compressed by the manipulation of the negative faction. Dark energy is not energy. It is the expansive tension field generated when polarized timelines strain against the natural harmonic expansion. We are witnessing the pressure exerted by the negative forces, synthetic timelines, trying to overwrite the positive faction's organic expansion fields. Galactic centers, which are supermassive black holes like our local one, Sagittarius A star, they're living architecture that act as super integrators between hemispheres of cosmic intent. They maintain postural gravity, equilibrium, and cross-lobe coordination across galaxies, much like a human brain. They also route deep structured traffic, archive event logs, and maintain dimensional firewalls like a DNS. They are also the dimensional gateways between the densities. They maintain the rules and stability of existence and reality as experienced by entities such as ourselves. And the reason the James Webb Space Telescope is seeing fully developed galaxies that are far too advanced for the amount of time that's passed, well, that's because those galaxies were seeded by this universe's architects, already fully formed, to act as vibrational anchors when our universe was being constructed. Suns, such as our one, Sol, are stellar intelligences. They are intelligent life forms in their own right and serve as harmonic metronomes, synchronizing all peripheral systems, including the entrance and exit of souls incarnating or expiring into or out of their respective system. They are conscious entities that generate and actively govern the evolution of their planetary systems. Planets are also intelligent life forms that regulate the environment and rules concerning the execution of existence processes, and much more than what humanity currently perceives them to be. Planets are frequency holders and dimensional anchors that experience their own journey of progression through the densities via a soul maturity process. So all the talk of a Mother Gaia as a living entity and embodiment of the planet Earth is essentially correct. Since planets do progress through densities, they can be found in 3D, 4D and 5D and will only be visible to observers in equal or superior densities, noting again that 5D is a non-physical realm. Planets at different densities can occupy the same space, which means you can have entities and entire civilizations of different densities operate and acting within the same locale, oblivious to each other unless deliberately intending otherwise. In order for human scientists to perceive them, they would need to create quantum phase coherence sensors, devices that measure interference patterns across vibrational fields, not photons, and a consciousness-based instrument layer, tuned to resonant fields, not hard matter. You don't have to believe any of this. As always, hold it like a metaphor and see where it takes you. I suspect you'll be surprised. In the next video, we'll continue to become more granular on the architecture that delivers our physical and mental reality. Until then, take care and goodbye.